Hey guys, got some incredible news this morning. My good friend Marcus has hit 200 members in his facility. He's absolutely crushing it. He's profiting an unbelievable amount. Marcus, my bro, I'm absolutely so proud of you. I remember Marcus was one of the very first clients that I signed to private coaching with me a couple of years ago. I remember I was driving from the gym in Sydney in Animal Kingdom. I chatted to him on Messenger and he believed in me. So Marcus, I want to say how proud I am of you, my friend. I can't wait to come over to America, have a few brews with you at some stage, watch some NFL, and we'll go from there, man, and have some fun. But guys, when you hit 200 members, you have some different problems. So, obviously he's got his marketing dialed in. We've looked after Marcus's ads for the last couple of years now, which is really, really good. He's worked incredibly hard to get where he is. He's an absolute savage. Learnt along the way and is enjoying every bit of success that he has. So with Marcus having 200 members, right now he's got a VA, assistant manager, and 2 trainers. Business is really, really profitable and he's having a couple issues. So first of all, like the team meetings, like aligning in your meeting routine so you can really, really empower your team so they know what they're doing. Also getting people to do their checklist. Writing a checklist, getting people to do their operations checklist are 2 different things. So I'm going to cover that and just kind of recap what we talked about today in our private session. And then also he wants to get someone to outsource the sales. So Marcus sells via consult. So he wants to get someone to be able to run the sales calls and the messaging and the follow-ups and all those things so that he can scale quicker. So guys, if you ever want to have 200 members or maybe a couple of these issues arising in your business or potentially happening in the future, strap yourselves in. I've got a real life action plan for you today. So guys, let's dive into the team meeting routine. So in your meeting routine and agenda, there's probably when you have staff, there's 2 really important ones. So the first one is your weekly team meeting, which we do on a Monday. And I want you to imagine that within this team meeting, what you're looking at setting up is your team for the week so that they can work without you. Okay, very, very important. When you leave that meeting, what you should kind of feel like, right, is that everyone is incredibly set up. They've got all the information that they need to have a successful week, right? And they know what their plan of attack is to be able to work autonomously. I can't stress that enough. So I'm just bringing up our team meeting agendas. I'm going to quickly run through what we do in our weekly team meeting. So we always start with our vision, right? And then our values. We do a 30-minute block of education where we teach them how to be better trainers, better operators within the facility. They share for 1 to 3 minutes some things that they learnt during the week, right? What their self-education is. Then we tell them what's happening around the gym over the next 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and maybe longer, like all the cool stuff. Any key points that you need to share on. Then we pass on the key performance metrics. So how many members last week, how many current members, how many sales, how many cancels. We'll focus on those cancels, on their customer lifetime value, what we could have done to get those members to stay. We give each member at the meeting, each staff member, 1 weekly focus. Sometimes it might be a bit more, but just one thing they need to focus on this week. Then we check in on last week's task list and make sure everything that was put into Asana was completed. Then we talk about upcoming events and ask if we're hitting their KPI metrics on that. Say you might have a charity boot camp and you want to get 50 people or whatever it might be. You just make sure we're tracking in the right direction. They do a 2-minute walkthrough of the gym where they give feedback and focus on the cleaning aspect of the gym. Now guys, this is very important, and this was in there before COVID, but even more important now that COVID's in there. Then you switch your tune to retention. So in our meeting, we celebrated the people who lost 5, 10, 15, or 20 kilos. KPI was 1 trainer got 1 each week. Then we'll talk about the secret shopper, which is a 23-point test that we had to pass in every session. We do a heat check on our secret shoppers. So our heat checks in our club were making sure the sessions were always toward the level that we wanted, which was a question: how intense were the sessions? Are we progressing and regressing clients correctly? We would talk about how we can make our sessions better. Are we using MyZone, and how can we use MyZone more efficiently? Obviously, we're a MyZone centric club. We passed on any feedback from our secret shoppers. If you're not sure what a secret shopper is, just send me a message. I can kind of run you through that. Then we went into our heavy retention focus. So we uploaded and printed all the milestone photos, sent birthday cards, send 3 celebrating success cards, people that are crushing it, contact under people who trained under 3 sessions. Guys, that is so important. If you're not contacting your members who aren't training 3 sessions, write that down and do that. It will change the retention in your business forever. That's probably the key point of the episode. Then we'd contact our retention members, which we're going to talk about in a second. And then we'd give the great results from last week and the milestones to the coach who's going to post about it. And then we'd spend some time looking for referrals. So like a lot of stuff to do in that meeting, but you can really set people up for success. So when you have a team, guys, that team meeting is so integral and so important. Now, you also want to do one-on-one meetings with all the coaches within your facility. Okay, so again, in that one, we ran through like the vision and values. Okay, we go through their 90-day theme. That's a thing from Vern Harnish, Scaling Up. Write that down if you haven't read that book. Then we'll go through their Asana and their checklist. Are they doing their checklist, which I'm going to talk about in a bit? We worked off a big 5 with our staff, so they had to do 5 tasks each week. Would cover through them, would go through their KPIs. Every staff member in your business should have key performance indicators, and then would cover what they're doing well, what they're not doing well, would set their new big 5, would plan their to-do list for the week, we would look over their retention document, which I'm going to talk about in a sec, and would give them a space where they can ask for help if they need it. So that was one team meeting and one-on-one with all of the coaches. So you're letting them know what's happening in the facility. You're letting them know what you need from them this week to be successful. And you're also covering their KPIs and checklists, all that kind of stuff privately. You'll have if you run these meetings, guys, these are the most important meetings within your facility as you get bigger. You need to turn up prepared. They need to turn up prepared, and you need to make sure that you run incredibly efficient and powerful meetings, because it's a very limited time that your team get to spend together every week. And if you can nail this really, really well, your business will run at incredible levels compared to people who run piss poor meetings. Now, guys, with checklists, okay, so we're really big on the inner circle. I believe that every staff member should have a checklist, but it's really easy just to make a checklist and then give it, and the world being the world, people don't do it. They don't do it on time. They don't understand why they need to do it. Is usually the common thing when people build out checklists and they change their business to this kind of management routine. Now, when checklists aren't being followed, there's usually 3 issues that will arise. Sometimes it's one of the issues, or sometimes it's a combination of all 3 of the issues. So the first one that can happen, they might not understand the importance of why they need to do the task. So just say, for example, on our checklist, it was like cleaning the bathrooms. Now, cleaning bathrooms sucks. No one actually wants to clean the bathrooms. Like, legitimately, no one wants to clean them. So, and if you want to be a bathroom cleaner, then that's life, right? But I'm not a cleaning person. I hated doing it, but we had to do it. So when we're explaining to our staff the reasons, we needed to let them know why it's on the checklist and how important it is. So we use a lot of stories. So we'd be like, have you ever been to a restaurant or a fast food venue when the bathrooms have been disgusting? And they'll be like, yeah. And they go, tell me what it was like. And they'll be like, smelled like pee. There were skitties everywhere. There was like toilet paper all over the bathrooms. Like, everyone watching and listening this would have been to a disgusting bathroom at some time in their life. And we're like, how did that make you feel? And they'll be like, it was fucking gross. It was disgusting. I've been trying not to swear on the podcast. I apologize, Nick. I slipped one out, right? But they'll be like, it's disgusting. It's foul. And we're like, exactly. So we have over 200 members in our facility. These bathrooms probably get used 50 to 60 times a day. I'm like, we love and care for these people. Do you want them to come into a bathroom like that? And they'll say no. We're like, that's why this certain task is important, right? That's why cleaning the bathrooms is important. And every task that you give them has a reason of importance, right? So you want to explain to them why they're doing what they're doing and how it makes a massive change. Because we're like, look, if you can keep these bathrooms clean, it's going to get our members to want to attend more. They're going to feel more comfortable when they come to the gym. They're going to have, their toilet paper in there, their moisturizing cream, their tampons, like all that kind of stuff, where it feels like a really safe space for them and they don't have any negative connotations within a business, which can happen in the flick of a switch if a bathroom is absolutely disgusting. So you're like, that's why we need to check them 3 times a day and make sure they're always perfect. Does that make sense? And they'll be like, yep. Okay. So the first one is explaining why it's important, right? And that's often missed in any checklist or any role that's given to anyone in most companies that are growing quickly, and they haven't learned this the hard way. Now, the second issue you might have, guys, is they might not know how to do it to your standard. So cleaning the bathrooms and cleaning the bathrooms to Jimmy's standard are 2 completely different things, right? You can do it, or you can do it to our standard or my standard or Marcus's standard. So that's where we use things like training them, like doing it together and showing them, right? Getting them to do it and you reviewing it, having videos on exactly how you want it done so they can do things your way and your company and your brand's way. Okay, it's not just doing the task, it's doing it Marcus's way. This is how fucking Marcus wants the bathrooms done, because it's Marcus's business. This is how we do it. Okay, so making sure they know exactly in their checklist what success looks like, right? What true success looks like in your eyes, so there's no deviation, no room for error. And then the third thing, guys, often with checklist is there a level of accountability? Are you checking their checklist? Is there, operations routines in place so you know whether they're doing it? Is there check-in strategies on when they're doing it, when they're not doing it? Say for the cleaning, we had like a cleaning checklist within our staff room where they had to mark it off when they've done it. Doesn't work for all tasks, but you want to make sure that you're checking that they are doing it. Now, what usually happens, guys, when you check stuff goes through to the wicket keeper or gets missed, right? And that's okay. But if you check someone's checklist every week for 4 weeks, you watch them start to do it. We had never had to fire anyone over a checklist because we simply checked up on them, made sure they were doing it. They knew that we would be spot checking their text messages and their cleaning and everything that was on there, right? So then that way when people know they're getting checked, it's a bit like your clients. If you say you're going to check your food diary, they do it because they don't want to have this. People don't like awkwardness where they're like, I just didn't do it, right? So it just forces them to upskill, and that's where everyone needs accountability, especially your coach. And a lot of people watching and listening to this might have had a business coach or might have a business coach currently. And a really good business coach will keep you accountable and keep you focused. As soon as you have staff, guys, I want you to think of yourself as a business coach because you need to guide them, you need to teach them, you need to train them, you need to tuck them under your wing, and you need to keep them accountable, right? And that's your staff that you're doing that to. Now, another issue that Marcus is having, and Marcus loves and cares for his clients. It is absolutely crazy. We used to talk about all the amazing things he does. He's a really, really world-class coach. But how's Marcus going to look after 200 clients now? Right? He has a business to run. He's not going to be able to do it. He's not going to be able to show the love and the care that he once did himself to 200 members because he's got other things that he needs to focus on, like his staff and keeping them happy and the continued business growth. And it's just too much to do. It's just too much to do. So how we overcame that, guys, is we let our staff members look after between 50 and 70 members at any one stage. So we would segment our members. Say if you got 3 staff, you'd give each staff member 70 clients that they need to look after, and they become their retention and happiness coach. Okay, so we'd put those into Google Drives. Would have all of the clients' 12 weeks goals, and at a minimum, we need to check in with them every fortnight to track their progress. So our staff, this was their directions. Do whatever you need to do to make sure that your retention members hit their goals, they attend their gym, and they love Code 5. If it means you got to text them 3 times a week, do it. If it means you have to text them and then when they're in flow once a fortnight, do it. If you have to catch up for a 10-minute phone call with them to get their head back into line, do it. Whatever you have to do to keep these members happy, you have full right to do it, right? contact them, make sure they attend your sessions, give them like a meal plans of our standards, like help them move forward, be their coach and their mentor that will do anything for them. And guys, this coaching aspect with clients, it's not as simple as just sending them a text every Tuesday. Right? We're dealing with humans. People need different touch points. They might need voice messages. They might need videos. Some might like text. Some of your clients prefer to be contacted via email, right? You want to just make sure that your staff take ownership. And what we mean by ownership is if a member canceled within our club, it wouldn't be, oh, Marcus's gym lost a member. We would go to the list and go, Marcus's trainer, Jimmy, lost that member. That was on Jimmy's retention list. So you have an ownership level on it. And then where we would work is in that initial meeting that I said, the one-on-one meeting, it was the second meeting I talked about where I said, look over client results. That's where you can impart your knowledge onto your trainers and go, awesome. Okay, cool. You've got a client, Jimmy, on there. He's training for his wedding in 12 months. He's been missing a couple of sessions. I want you to give him a call and get him booked in for 3 sessions next week. Or I want you to send him a photo of his wedding venue to get him fired up to start coming back. And guys, you guys would have a really amazing level of coaching ability where when you start to have staff, what your goal is to be able to download your knowledge to them as quickly as possible and help them win. And that's where these meetings, you can look over 50 members in like 10, 15 minutes and be able to give your staff game plans on what they can do to keep their clients moving forward in their retention list. So that's how we did the retention list. They would look after members for 12 weeks. We had a 12-week goal setting and then we would rotate through them. The reason why we rotated through them in a group training facility is we didn't want our clients to get attached to any one trainer. We wanted them to get attached to the business. So we rotated them through coaches so that if a coach ever left us for whatever reason, they hadn't been training a set amount of 70 clients for like 2 years. Obviously, that would be warning bells and potentially you'd lose a lot of clients. On the rotation category, you never have issues if for a very sad reason your trainers ever leave. And then guys, just the last one on sales calls. I actually managed our sales team at Code 5. I used to send them like all funny videos of like Wolf of Wall Street and stuff like that, get them all fired up. So something I know very, very well on how to essentially these people with sales calls, if they're booking in consultations, they're actually called appointment setters as such. So, their biggest metric is that they're calling the leads twice a day. They are text messaging the leads once a day and emailing leads once a day. Obviously, when you have systems like ACR, it'll text message and email for you. But when you're bringing on a new appointment setter, okay, this is exactly how we did it. Okay, so firstly, you book the times in that they're going to be doing the calls. So say it's 2 hours a day, right? It doesn't matter when it is. Key times, 8:30 a.m. to 9:30, lunchtime, and then after work, right? Better to call than not call though, that's the rule. So you'd book in their times that they're doing it. They might not be doing it 2 hours a day for you. We've got some clients in their circle who have someone that just helps out 5 hours a week just to clear a block off the owners. But you want to book their times in. And then what we do is a 2-week process. Okay, so for the first 3 days, the owner or the person's doing the role is just doing the calls, doing the follow-ups, following the script, just showing them how it's done. Now, you will do a couple of role plays with them where you'll pretend to answer the phone and they'll kind of run through it. You'll also do some role plays on them where you're calling them and just running them through the script and getting the book in. I recommend doing 3 role plays as myself, right, being the caller or the salesperson, and I'm the experienced person, and getting the person who's training just to be the client. You get them booked in. Then you want the person who you're teaching to do 10 role plays on you, right? Then them to call you 10 times and get you booked in. So they've done enough reps before someone picks up the phone. And what it means is they won't be shit scared when someone answers the phone for the first time, right? That's how we did it. So then guys, for the first 3 days, the person would just like work with the head salesperson. They'll just watch how they do it, watch how efficient they are, how they get everything done, just kind of learning by watching. Right, then for the next 2 days, you guys would do it together. So you actually call people at the same time, right? When someone answers, you're there, you're able to give them some advice, write down notes that they do it, or just give them space to see how they go. Okay, then for the last 5 days of their training, you're there with them, just watching them, making sure they're really efficient with their time, they pick up calling them, they're using your sales CRMs, and you are giving them any feedback that they need to make sure they're world class. You'll also do 1 to 2 role plays with them every week ongoing to keep to sharpen their skills and to make sure that they're following the scripts and the systems. And then after 2 weeks, guys, you have an appointment setter who's trained. Then once your appointment setter's trained, what you want to track is how many calls they made per day, how many bookings they made per day, and how many of their bookings attended, so you know that they're following the scripts within the calling scripts to get people to attend those consults if you are doing face-to-face consults. There's obviously going to be a couple of things that you learn along the way, but that's like the best overview that I can give you on how we did it, and did it incredibly well. We obviously had full-time guys within our clubs. It's not super relevant for everyone watching or listening this, maybe to have full-timers at the moment. You might start with like a part-timer, like 10 hours a week. But guys, it's going to be one of the best investments you have, especially if you're increasing the amount of leads you have, because it's a very, very easy call. As long as someone's happy to pick up the phone and they don't have that fear of chatting to people they don't know, they'll be able to do this at an incredibly high level. We would get people who were like 18, 19-year-olds to be our call setters, and they were absolutely fantastic at it. And then you just use it. You're their inspiration and chief reminder officer. You make sure that you're inspiring them with all the amazing results that you get in the club, right? We had Facebook groups where we'd send them testimonials every day, get them all fired up. We'll do like a little huddle before they did their calls for like 5 minutes just to outline their flow. Your call setters will also have weekly meetings in a group environment. They would like meet up with the rest of the team, and then also their one-on-ones. And guys, as a rough rule of thumb, they should get 1 booking every 20 minutes. So if they're just making 1 call a minute, it will take roughly 10 calls to get an answer. And then on that call, it takes about 6 to 10 minutes to get someone booked in for a consult. If they do that for an hour, are really efficient, once they're trained after like 1 month to 2 months, they should get 3 bookings for you every hour, or 6 per day. But you've got to make sure they have enough leads to contact. But it's a really easy way to scale your business. It's one of the things that not many fitness business owners have within their business, is someone who's dedicated, who's just like, hey, my job is just to get bookings to attend. Obviously, we sold through face-to-face consults in our clubs, as does Marcus. It's a little bit different if you get credit card details over the phone. The training is a little bit longer and a little bit more detailed, which, if you are doing that, probably just reach out to me and we can cover that training with Brad. So guys, I hope you got a little bit of value from today. Definitely probably a little bit of a higher level video for you guys. I hope that everyone watching this gets to 200 members like Marcus. I was incredibly proud that Marcus was one of my first private clients, and him and my boy Vasily are absolutely crushing it. Probably 2 of the clients that I hold closest to my heart, because they were there and they believed in me when I was first starting out, and I was just a young buck in this business, coach, and just learning along the way as I do. So Marcus, I'm proud of you. I promise you I'd give you this podcast to give you a little bit of extra value on top of our coaching call today, so you'll be able to listen to it when you're lifting heavy like a beast. And guys, I hope you got a little bit of value as well from this. I hope that everyone watching this is at a position where one day they get to 200 members like Marcus, or maybe you're at 200 members now and you're probably having these similar issues that Marcus is having. And guys, if you ever want any help with this kind of stuff, I live and breathe fitness business. I absolutely love it. I'm honored to get to have these conversations with people like Marcus every single day, every single week. It's the easiest job in the world because I absolutely love it. If you ever want to join our Inner Circle family, there's links around everywhere. You can do 28 days free. I prefer to show you how good I am rather than tell you how good we are. I'm very, very proud of the team that we have on board. It's not just me, it's myself, it's Dylan, it's Big Brad, it's Dan, it's my guy Jackson with ACR. We work incredibly hard for you guys. I work 7 days a week and absolutely love it. So if you ever want to join our crew, maybe get results like Marcus, you'll find the link.